insisted that Obi cannot be returned as elected, having failed to poll majority of the lawful votes cast at the election. 1/4 of the votes cast in each of at least 2/3 of all states in the Federation and the FCT. The National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Samuel Ayamu, has emerged the party's governorship candidate in Imo State for the November 11 election. This followed the party's primary, which was held at the state secretariat of the party in Owerri, the state capital. According to the state organizing secretary of the PDP, Lawrence Biado, the 7-man electoral panel constituted by the National Working Committee was present to monitor the exercise. However, the former governor of the state, Emeka Ihedioha, was absent after pulling out of the race some weeks ago. Off-cycle governorship elections are expected to hold in Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo states on the 11th of November. The All Progressive Congress APC in Kogi State has adopted the direct mode of conduct of its governorship primary election in the state. The party informed the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, as well as aspirants of its decision to adopt the direct mode. In a letter dated 6th of April and signed by the acting national chairman, Senator Abubakar Kyari. Meanwhile, an Abuja Federal High Court has nullified the state APC delegates list for the purpose of nominating a governorship candidate for the party for the November governorship election. Delivering judgment on the matter, Justice James Omotosho voided the ward and local government congresses said to have been conducted on the 7th of February on the grounds that they were not conducted in compliance with Electoral Act 2022 and the Constitution of the APC. Now let's take a short break, and when we return, it will be time to speak with our guest of the day, who is a lawyer and member of the All Progressive Congress APC Presidential Campaign Council, Jesutega, Onokpasa, to discuss the 2023 elections and legal battles ahead. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. And now to our interview with the guest of the day. I am joined by a lawyer, writer, and member of the All Progressives Congress APC Presidential Campaign Council, Jesutega, Onokpasa. He is also a member of the Tinubu Presidential Legal Team. Onokpasa has been a personal assistant to the Speaker of Delta State House of Assembly, senior special assistant to the Governor of Delta State, and senior legislative aide to the Deputy Senate President. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, sir.
It's my pleasure.
All right. An interesting conversation tonight. So let's begin this way. The 2023 elections have come and gone, but it's still generating a lot of acrimony. Why this?
Well, I think I would start by saying that let me just clarify the capacity in which I am here. I am here not as a member of Ashiwaju's legal team, neither am I here representing the APC Presidential Campaign Council. I am a member of both. Now, as far as why there is controversy after an election has been clearly won and lost, I guess we can put it down to the character of Nigerians. You know, you lose an election, well, you refuse to agree that you've lost the election, and you expect to obtain victory basically by hook or crook. I think that is what is going on, because the election that was held on the 25th of February, the presidential election, was clearly won and lost. And so there's no, I think these are just shenanigans that are to be expected of Nigerians. Let me put it that way.
So, from the presidential to the governorship elections, many candidates have gone to court to challenge the outcome. Why are elections in Nigeria subjected to widespread litigations?
Just the same thing I just told you. It's the character of Nigerians. You know, that people just don't want to play the game by its rules. You know, you have a situation where someone has even woefully lost the election, and the person is still insisting that he should get to office by hook or crook. You know, it's as simple as that. I will put it down to bad character, actually.
All right. So, you know, elections are our major tool of promoting democracy, but it's quite disturbing that many election matters are decided by the court. For you, what impacts do you think this on the country's democracy?
Let me put it this way. Let's take this election as a case in point. Now, what happened in this election? An election was held. I was reading something written by Professor Jesutega, you know, and he tried to analyze what had happened on the 25th of February, and he was trying to compare it with what happened back in 1979. And it was, you know, what is to be said of someone of Jega's intellect, you know. Nevertheless, there was a position he took there, which I even disagree with due respect to him. The election that was held on the 25th is not exactly comparable with the one that was held in 79. And that's because in 79, for instance, there was no ruling party. So there was no opposition. Therefore, all the parties were on an equal footing. So comparing it with the election held on the 25th is not necessarily ideal. What happened this year is that we are a ruling party. We are a party in power. All the other parties together constitute opposition. So when you are tabulating the votes, when you see, let's say there are 25 million votes, you try to see how many votes the ruling party has gotten in this kitty, how many votes the opposition combined has gotten first. It's not a question of, Shiwaju Tinubu scored so and so votes, Atiku Abubakar scored so and so votes, Peter Obi scored so and so votes, Rabiu Kwankwaso scored so and so votes. Not at all. There is a common pot of votes which represents all the voters that voted in Nigeria on that day. Then that pot is now shared into two. You now look at the total pool of votes that was garnered by the ruling party, and you compare it to the totality of votes garnered by the opposition. And this, from that point of view, this is probably the strangest election in the entire history of Nigeria. You have the ruling party being able to garner approximately 8.8 million votes. You have the opposition as a group garnering 14 million plus votes. So the question of this election is not about where did Tinubu's 8.8 million votes come from, or how did Obi get 6.2 million votes. No, it is what did the opposition do with 14 million votes. Because from that perspective, they are already ahead of us. with some 5 million votes. This is really important. So how did they mismanage 14 million votes that our 8.8 million votes ended up defeating their 14 million votes? That is the issue of this election. Not these shenanigans. Not talking about high-rev. Not talking about this or that. You have 14 million votes in your kitty. Opposition, all of you are one. We are on one side. We are APC. We are a ruling party, for God's sake. It's not like 1979 at all. All the parties in 79, NPN, UPN, NPP, GNPP, they were all just struggling for power. There was no ruling party. It was the military that was in government. There was no ruling party. There was no opposition. There is a ruling party. We are trying to retain power. They are trying to take power from us. So all of them collectively are the opposition. And they had 14 million votes. All this funny, ridiculous talking about rigging. That is how to rig election. Does former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, does she not know how elections are rigged? Our former boss, Olusegun Obasanjo, is the biggest rigger of elections in the entire history of Nigeria. Is that how you rig election? You rig election by allocating 14 million votes to your opponent and only 8.8 million votes to yourself? What are these people talking about? Is that how to rig election? What is Chimamanda writing? You said Tinubu gave money to who? To Mahmoud Yakubu. And then what was the point of giving him money? For him to give the opposition 14 million votes and give him only 8.8 million votes. That is the one in this election. Every other thing is just shenanigans.
So what is the implication of this on? What is the implication of this on our nation's democracy?
Well, for me, it is certainly distracting. For instance, the election has been clearly won, and it has also been clearly lost. Now, those who have lost are being Trumpian, clearly being Trumpian. They refuse to concede defeat, you know. That sort of thing weakens the democracy. You know, it stresses it. For instance, right now, what we should be thinking of is, how do we take care of 200 million plus people? How do we move our country forward? But then you have the losers. The people who could not manage 14 million votes. These people are the strangest kind of people I've ever seen in my life. You have
many, Mr. Onokpasa, many analysts were of the opinion that the 2023 elections will be different due to the introduction of Beavers. Why do we still have litigations trailing the outcome of this election? Would you totally blame this on INEC?
No, in fact, INEC has absolutely no blame, because the 2023 elections were actually different thanks to Beavers. They were different. If it was before Beavers, let us take the era of Obasanjo. Rigging elections, for instance, is very, very difficult. It's not that easy. It takes a lot of effort. But Obasanjo came with this funny way of rigging elections. All he did was just call up Boris Iwu on the phone and say, write this result for this person, write this result for that person, write this other result for this other person. Now, what did Beavers do? In fact, Beavers has made it almost impossible to rig elections. And that's why you have this surprising situation where the opposition party gets 14 million votes. Please, let's be focused on the real issues on ground. The opposition in Nigeria got 14 million votes. The ruling party, the party in power, with all the governors we have, all the senators we have, all the members of House of Reps we have, we got 8 point something million votes. That's all we got. So what did the opposition do with their 14 million votes? Their duty. Do you know the interesting thing? Bola Tinubu had actually given everyone the marking scheme of how to defeat a party in power. How do you defeat a party in power? You are an opposition. That opposition comes together. It's as simple as that. You come together as one. You attain critical mass. But that is not even necessarily enough, because you also have to hope for division in the ruling party. That is how APC came to power in 2015. There is no mystery about it. Bola Tinubu was able to gather the entire Nigerian opposition together, and they attained critical mass. Then the PDP that was then in power failed to keep itself together, and it was defeated. So even this election cycle, the greatest fear was that they will use our own formula against us to defeat us. That they will be sensible enough to come together as one. That they will unite. And that we would have problems in our midst. And that is how they will defeat us. Do you know the funny thing? They actually add the votes. Look at the votes. I don't know what is the problem with Nigerians. Somebody is accusing Mahmoud Yakubu of rigging the election. What election? You have 40 million votes there. Look at the figures. Look at the numbers. They rigged you. Oh, IRF did not work, but this IRF that did not work still gave you 2 million votes. There was voter suppression. Oh, there was voter suppression, but you still got 14 million votes. There was vote buying. We bought vote with our cashless election, with your Naira redesign, with your fuel scarcity, and you still got 14 million votes. With all these supposed atrocities we committed, all we still got was less than 9 million votes. What did you do with 14 million votes? What did Sarah Omaku do with 14 million votes? She said they would waste their votes. Oh, and then they started scattering the votes. And Atiku took almost 7 million votes. Only God knows what he did with it. Obi took 6 million. Please, just let me land okay? Obi took 6 million. Of course, Kwankwaso burnt 1.5 million. That is your problem. Your duty, you concentrate the votes. If they had all come together, if they came together as one, in fact, any one of them could have won with just a few more votes, 1 million votes. They did not. Our elections won. It's first past the post. That's how we defeated them. We kept ourselves together. They wasted their votes. The votes of 14 million Nigerians. That is the issue in this election. There's no other issue. There is no other issue. They had already won. But if they had just come together, they would have defeated us. They failed to defeat us. There was rigging. Is that how to rig election? Is that how used to rig election? Telling people which rigging. Come and prove the rigging. Let us see. With your 40 million votes, what have you been smoking?
So for the purpose of the election litigation already building up, Mr. Onokpasa, for the purpose of the election litigation already building up, for you, how critical is data from Beavers?
In what sense? Come again, please.
How critical is data from Beavers for election litigation?
That is the law says that the umpire, INEC, should determine the mode of voting. And then the device that INEC came up with is Beavers, which means you really can't vote without Beavers. So it's critical. And but the funny thing is that it is thanks to Beavers that the election panned out as it did. It is thanks to Beavers that surprisingly the ruling party, we the ruling party, we have 8.8 million votes. That's all we have. They, the opposition, they have 40 million plus votes. That's almost 15 million votes. If not for Beavers, I don't think they would have gotten that. That is how transparent these elections were. In fact, the people who should be suspicious of the election, the people who should be wondering what happened in this election, should be the APC. How come a ruling party in power gets just a little above 1/3 of the votes cast? So it's not that's with due respect to Professor Jesutega. There is no comparison between this election and the election in 1979. It's not the same kind of election at all. There was no ruling party then. All of them were on the same footing. We are a ruling party. And our projection was that worst case scenario, as long as they are divided, we will, if we don't get above 50%, we will just get just under 50%. But because they are divided, we will still defeat them. How do we get just above 1/3? We should be the ones even accusing INEC of giving them votes that do not belong to them. Do you understand me? This
I do.
You have 40 million votes. After rigging, we should even be the one. But we trust the process.
Mr. Onokpasa, you may have said the election for you was almost perfect, but many candidates have faulted INEC for failure to upload results on IRF in real time. What's the position of the law on this?
There is no compulsion to upload results anywhere. The law is what it is. The law is clear, it's there, it's written. So, in fact, that issue is not even worth wasting time on. The law gives INEC the discretion to determine how results are transmitted. That is there's no compulsion to upload results in this time frame or not. But something I personally suspect, that what happened to the INEC portal during the election was thanks to Peter and Atiku, because that is also what we discovered at the Presidential Campaign Council. People were trying to hack the INEC server. Now, I'm not holding brief for INEC, but my own little understanding of computers, of electronics, the safest way to prevent a server is the same process to protect a phone. It's the same process to prevent someone from using your television with a webcam from spying on you. You just switch the device off. Oh yeah, come and hack. So that's my suspicion, but I don't know what account for INEC. But I know that supporters of Peter Obi and supporters of Atiku Abubakar, we are trying to hack the INEC server from all over the world. They were doing it here from here in Nigeria. They were doing it from Canada. They tried to do it from the United States. They were doing it from Europe. They were doing it from Malaysia. So I don't know what INEC decided to do, probably to keep their server safe. They switched it up. I don't know. Yeah. Nevertheless, with or without that IRF, they ended up with 40 million votes. Please, I will keep coming to that. That is, I know what I'm doing. That is all this discussions, they are all irrelevant. If you have 40 million votes and I have 8.8 million votes, you have defeated me. So you do with your votes. If Atiku Abubakar does not step down for Peter Obi, and Peter Obi does not step down for Atiku Abubakar, how the hell are any one of them going to defeat Achiwaju Tinubu? What sort of political calculation is that?
INEC's, Mr. Onokpasa, don't you think INEC's decision affected the credibility of the process?
How? Which credibility? Are you ignoring the 40 million votes? I mean, how do you determine credibility? What do these people, what were they expecting? That Bola Tinubu would not get votes? I don't know. They already have 40 million votes in their kitty. Now, is it that, what makes the election not credible? That Bola Tinubu just 8.8 million votes? Is it that Bola Tinubu's 8.8 million votes should have been donated, allocated by Mahmoud Yakubu to Peter Obi, or is it to Atiku Abubakar? What sort of crap is this? I'm not going into all these shenanigans. The issue in this election is the opposition got 40 million votes. In fact, I have been having a running battle with my colleagues. Don't discuss these shenanigans with them. Ask them what they did with 40 million votes. That's all. We have just 8.8 million votes. We rigged the election and you still got 40 million votes. How did you do that? Who rigged who? That's the issue.
So, Mr. Onokpasa, you know, it's on record that Nigeria had a pre-judiciary, especially from the camp of as a lawyer, how will you react to that?
Well, without going into the case, I'm not going to after all, it's sub judice. I can tell you this for free. This entire process has been as bizarre as it gets. Now, you claim you have been rigged in an election. You file a petition in court. The same day that you file a petition in court, you start perambulating from TV station to TV station. And what do? You insult judges. You denigrate the courts. You try to drag the judiciary in the mud. You issue orders to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You issue commands to the Chief Justice of Nigeria. That's what that ridiculous character, Yusuf Dati Baba Ahmed, was doing. Peter Obi had gone to court in the morning, and in the evening, the same Peter Obi sent him to go and insult the Nigerian judiciary. Insult the same court that they had filed a case in. Just that very morning. Now, do you know what we do as lawyers? How we understand the very process of going to court. When you file a case in court, you are actually making a profound statement. You are saying that, court, I trust you to give me justice. That's why I came here, instead of taking the law into my own hands. That is what it means to go to court. When you go to court, in one breath you've gone to court. In the very next breath, you are insulting the court. You are saying you don't have confidence that the same court you filed a case in will give you justice. You are in contempt of court already, as far as I'm concerned. You ought not even be heard by the court. Nobody is scared of anything. Nobody is scared. There's no case here. The case is, you will prove how 14 million votes were defeated by rigging, by just 8. It's not a question of anybody. I said there's no case. Now you've gone to court, you are busy insulting the court. The next day, you instigate your supporters to go to the defense headquarters, calling for a coup. They were committing treason right there in front of the defense house. And General Lucky Iraba, with all his knowledge of the law, did not remember that if somebody comes in front of the defense house asking for a coup, for military takeover, that is a national security threat. He should have rounded up everyone. That is not protected speech. That's not freedom of speech. Treason is not freedom of speech. Once you call for military takeover, you are calling for a coup. You are committing a crime. It is a capital offense called treason. It's not beyond the realm of, that is what they are. So for me, without commenting on the case itself, I don't even believe that Peter Obi and that is equally strange running mate have actually gone to court, because I don't understand this bizarre, utterly bizarre, macabre situation where someone goes to court in the morning and the case has not started. I even heard that Leonard Sik Olisa Agbakoba was saying that he does not trust the Nigerian judiciary. I was dumbfounded because he is a product of the Nigerian judiciary. Everything Olisa Agbakoba is in his entire life is because he stands to the Nigerian judiciary. So how come? Because they wasted 14 million votes. And we gathered our 8.8 million votes. Therefore, the Nigerian judiciary is now useless to these people. Well, we shall see. Now, the entire specter of trying to intimidate the court is the issue. Trying to tarnish the reputation of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, And then, what impression does it give one? You claim you have gone to court, and then you keep hearing these statements, these comments, shenanigans, and you wonder what is really going on here. Frankly,
Mr. Onokpasa,
at a level, yes.
At this point, we need to take a break. Tonight on the program, we're focusing on the 2023 elections and the legal battles ahead with a lawyer and member of the All Progressive Congress, Jesutega Onokpasa. This discussion will continue after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Tonight on Politics Tonight, we're focusing on 2023 elections and legal battles ahead with a lawyer and member of the All Progressive Congress APC Presidential Campaign Council, Jesutega Onokpasa. All right, let's go on. One bone of contention, the presidential election is Section 134 regarding status of Abuja. What's your position on this?
Let me approach it from the point of view of what anybody can read in the Constitution. It says I'm not discussing the case. I'm just telling you what is in the Constitution. The Constitution says you will score 1/4 in 2/3 of the state of the federation. If you've done that, and you also happen to be the candidate with the highest number of votes, you are the winner of the election. Well, what is 2/3 of the federation? We have 36 states. 2/3 is 24 states. Now, if you read that section, it says, and Abuja. And some people, as far as I'm concerned, they are mischief makers. Because this thing was even started with by Olisa Agbakoba, and I don't know what he had in mind when he was doing all that. Now, they say that you must have 1/4 of the votes in the FCT. In fact, I've never heard anything more ridiculous coming from a lawyer. Is it that if a candidate has scored 1/4 in all of the 36 states, for instance, and he didn't score 1/4 in FCT, you will not give him the election? I mean, what are these people saying? You have won the election. You have the highest number of votes. And you've also made 1/4 in all the 36 states, except in Abuja. Do you know what the Constitution does? The Constitution, even by mentioning Abuja, the Constitution is acknowledging the fact that Abuja is not a state. So the Constitution, that is, it is less than a state. It is called the Federal Capital Territory. It's a territory. It is not a state. It doesn't have a governor. It doesn't even have a House of Assembly. The House of Assembly of the Federal Capital Territory is the Federal House of Representatives. That is how it is of lesser status than the states. Now, what does the Constitution do? The Constitution now says this is not an ideal situation because things won't function optimally in the FCT if you have a part of Nigeria that is not treated as a state for certain purposes. So all the Constitution does is, okay, for the purposes that are necessary, let the FCT be treated as a state. So, which means that all the Constitution is trying to do is to upgrade it from a status lower than that of a state to the status of a state only for certain purposes. The Constitution doesn't do that with any other state. They are already states. They are already states. They are already of that status. Now, this utter rubbish, pardon me, that people are saying you must win 25% in Abuja, is it that you have now elevated the FCT above, let us say, my home state of Delta? Who the hell are the people that live in the FCT? That somebody must win 25% in the FCT, but not in Delta? It is even my Delta money that was used to build the Abuja.
So some lawyers have also called for conclusion cases.
Excuse me, Jumoke, let me finish this point. So, if somebody... Go on.
Now, some lawyers have also called for conclusion cases at the tribunal before swearing in on May 29. So how practicable is this?
I don't know which kind of lawyers you are talking about. I don't believe any serious lawyer will be vomiting such balderdash. I was sent one article today, and somebody calling himself a lawyer, and I'm saying this on satellite television, and I hope he can hear me. My name is Jesutega Onokpasa. So if he has confidence, let him sue me. He can't be a lawyer. He was basically saying that the law does not forbid Muhammadu Buhari from continuing beyond May 29. I mean, these people, this is how frustrated they have become. You have lawyers, including senior lawyers, behaving like quacks. This problem was solvable. All they needed to do was to manage their 40 million votes. Olisa Agbakoba, that's true. Olusegun Obasanjo, if I was Obasanjo, all I would have done I want Peter Obi to win election, I will lock everybody in a room and say, you, Atiku, step down for Peter Obi. There was no way that Atiku will be there and Peter Obi will win. The votes are not inexhaustible. There is how many Nigerians vote? Not more than 25 million Nigerians. In fact, our projection was between 20 million and 30 million Nigerians would vote. Where are these votes going to come from? If Atiku has taken 7 million and Obi has taken 6 million, and they have to be counted separately, then Onokpasa has even taken 1.5 million. How do you then defeat our 8.8 million? It's as simple. All these shenanigans. A whole lawyer asking the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria not to hand over when he is supposed to hand over. When is that he should? In fact, he was inviting Buhari to embark on tenure elongation. Now, listen, do you know how cases are concluded, Jumoke? They are concluded according to law. There is a time frame for the cases is stipulated. If it's 180 days, it means the court has 180 days to try the case. Arrive at a decision, deliver judgment. The law is the law. Are we going to break the law because of Peter Obi? Because Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar and Sarah Omaku and Obi Ezekwesi, Chimamanda Adichie could not gather 40 million votes together. They had 40 million votes, for God's sake. They had 40 million votes. I will keep repeating it.
Do you agree that the Presidential Tribunal proceedings should be televised live?
In fact, frankly, I don't care. But when I first heard that stuff about televising it live, because for me, you've gone to court and you seem to be doing everything to lose your case. In fact, the approach to their case, even the formulation of the case, though I won't go into the details because it's sub judice. The formulation is absolutely ridiculous. So I personally don't even believe they are in court for anything serious. I don't. That's my candid opinion. Now you are calling for televised trial of the case. That is up to the court. I'm not going to say the court should grant or deny that. Nevertheless, I have a suspicion that these people are just planning entertainment for their supporters. They realize they have lost election. Peter Obi is just too embarrassed to admit that he lost. And it is clear why he lost. There was only one way Peter Obi could win. The only way Peter Obi could have won is for Atiku not to be there contesting, running. Onokpasa was always psyching up Peter Obi, telling him, oh, thank you for splitting Atiku's votes. And Nigerians even believe that nonsense, that it was Peter Obi that split Atiku's votes. Where did that come from? They were splitting one another's votes. That's how it works. They are an entire body of opposition. Right. Everybody who is in an opposition, who remains, even Showore, Stephen Showore, Yele Showore, split, even if it is 70,000 votes that he got, he split out of the pool. Ado Ibrahim split out of the pool. These people don't understand how to analyze.
So for you, it should not be televised live, right?
You said?
I said, so for you, it should not be televised live.
frankly, I don't care. But I feel that the court is not a theater. And the court should not be used for entertainment. And if you don't have a serious reason for going to court, you can't convert the court to theater. In any case, listen to me, it is up to a judge. These people, who the hell do they think they are? They will dictate to the judiciary. It is up to do they want to apply for the trial to be televised? Go ahead, but it is up to the court.
All right.
If I say, oh, I don't want the case to be televised, it's as if I'm afraid of what? There is no case here. I've said it on national television.
All right, then. So,
between 40 million and 8 votes. Simple. What did you do with your 40 million votes?
Because of time, let's quickly move on with our conversation. It is a fact that election litigation is complex and excessively technical. What do you think INEC needs to do ahead of the off-cycle elections in Kogi State, Bayelsa, and Imo State?
What I think INEC should do, in fact, what I think INEC should do is to do exactly what they did in this election. That's what they should do. I mean, how do you have an election where a ruling party gets just over 1/3 of the vote, and the opposition can score almost 2/3 of the vote? What an empire. I clap for INEC. I clap for Mahmoud Yakubu. May God bless Mahmoud Yakubu. May God bless his wife, bless their children. They should just, don't use what is not broken. You're accusing someone of rigging election for who? For you? You have 40 million votes in your pocket, and the person rigged the election, then he must have rigged it for you. Because all we got was 8.8 million votes. If we had rigged, we should have the 40 million, then you will have our 8.8 million. So all INEC needs to do, in fact, exactly what he did in this election, that's what INEC should do. No other thing.
So let me have your reaction to this. Mr. Onokpasa, what's your view on Chimamanda's letter to U.S. President Joe Biden?
My God. That is probably, even I just pity, because I really, really, really love Chimamanda. I just pity her. She went completely overboard. That was so laughable, so ridiculous. And that is what ethnic bigotry does to you. When you become a bigot, when you yield to bigotry, it makes you lose touch with reality. Let me tell you something, Jumoke. On the desk of Joe Biden, the President of America, there is a CIA report, detailed report, dispatched from the embassy right here in Abuja, detailing exactly what happened in this election. A report from the CIA station officer here in Nigeria, in Abuja, to Joe Biden, detailing in detail all the things, exactly what happened during this election. And on that, maybe some time from now, there will be another WikiLeaks, and we will be able to see what the contents of that report is. But the report, I can guarantee you, will state how completely incompetent, how egotistical, how irresponsible, and altogether disorganized the Nigerian opposition was, that they were able to flush 40 million votes down the toilet. And the ruling party, led by Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, was able to gather just 8.8 million votes and win the presidency. So, in fact, Joe Biden would just have, if at all Chimamanda's letter was even taken to him in the first place, he would just have looked at the letter and said, "This is not the Chimamanda they say is. What crap is this?"
All right, let me also get your reaction to
what
another...
What did you do with 14 million votes?
Mr. Onokpasa, was Soyinka too harsh on obedience?
No, absolutely not. The obedience are the ones that have been harsh on everybody. Okay? Do you know what is going? Let me give you a projection. You see this obedience? They've become a personality cult around Peter Obi. So they are unhinged. But you see, the obedience, soon they will become disobedience. Peter Obi said, we want to drive in from Nigeria. APC wants to drive in from Nigeria. We don't rate Peter Obi to be anything. But Peter Obi will run away from Nigeria. It's not because of when his obedience becomes disobedience and they turn on him, he will run. Because the scales will fall from their eyes. They will see him for the scam artist he is, and they will turn on him. Okay? That is what happens to all personality cults. They too are the children of God. God will come to their rescue. The scales will fall from their eyes. It is obedience. In fact, the only danger to Peter Obi is his own obedience. He just has not realized it yet.
All right.
That's what is going on.
All right. I must say a very big thank you to you, Mr. Jesutega Onokpasa. Tonight we focused on 2023 elections and legal battles ahead with a lawyer and member of the All Progressive Congress APC Presidential Campaign Council, Jesutega Onokpasa. Thank you very much for coming on Politics Tonight as you shed more light on some of the legal battles ahead in the 2023 elections. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for watching. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But the conversation continues from here. Get in touch with us on Twitter at TVCNewsNG and at Olajumoke using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC Nigeria. Join us for the repeat episode at midnight and tomorrow for another edition of Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. Good night.
Greasy and smelly braids can be a thing of the past. Introducing the new Ruwa braids from Expression. Made with 100% Aquatex fiber from Canicolon. The new Ruwa braids from Expression is extremely drying and perfect for friction-free washing. Stay dry this season with the new Ruwa braids from Expression, available in pre-stretch and regular braid variants and in beauty shops near you.
Ovieme.
Aw, I wish you were here.
I'm always with you.
But it's not the same without you.
MTN 5G's amazing technology will change how we experience life and the internet. Get ready to encounter the incredible, and remember, no be juju, na MTN.
As they to the inauguration of President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu as Nigeria's 16th president continues, more and more world leaders are showing solidarity with him in recognition of his well-deserved win. The United States, United Kingdom, China, Ukraine, France, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Cuba, Nicaragua, Namibia, and a host of others have already sent in their congratulatory messages. The ECOWAS Parliament and other ECOWAS bodies, the D8, that is, the Developing Aid Organizations for Economic Cooperation, the African Union, are among organizations that have recognized Bola Tinubu's impressive win in the presidential election held on the 25th of February, 2023.
The United States congratulates the people of Nigeria, President-elect Tinubu, and all political leaders following the declaration by Nigeria's Independent National Electoral Commission, or INEC, on the results of the February 25th presidential election. This competitive election represents a new period for Nigerian politics and democracy. Each of the top 3 candidates was the leading vote getter in 12 states, a remarkable first in Nigeria's modern political era, reflecting the diversity of views that characterize the campaign and the wishes of Nigeria's voters.
Namibia also looks forward to a good working relationship with the incoming government of President-elect His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The goal of world leaders is to partner with a prosperous Nigeria, the economic giant of the African continent. Tinubu's presidency is expected to usher in unprecedented growth and development across all sectors.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
No matter how windy a journey may be, hope is kept alive if the target is worth the pursuit. A 19-year-old, Daniel Okolie, is the impressionable target I am gunning after. Exactly 1 year ago, I discovered him here at the Asheshe axis of the Redeemed Camp in Ogun State as the world marked day. Daniel is living with autism, a condition that challenges the brain, the nervous system, and communication. But he is beating against the waves of the health condition through his very supportive family.
Oh, Daniel.
Arriving at the home of the Okolies to see the rapid growth of Daniel was an absolute delight. Daniel, who started out his creativity as a pen and paper artist, has expanded his craft to more impressionable artistic works. Powerful strokes from his highly imaginative mind leaves you savoring for more of his creative expressions.